How does a naive young boy becomes enchanted bearish like a monster? How did the Witcher fight Bruxa in the books to save Nivellen? A Grain of Truth is the second short story of the first Witcher book, which has a beautiful fairy tale touch to it. Geralt wanders the woods with his horse named Roach, and he stumbles upon two dead bodies. He discovers that the people had to be attacked by an animal of some kind. The woman has a bite on her neck, but not from a wolf, but a different kind of peculiar monster, probably a kikimora or a viper. Geralt continues riding through the forest, following tracks of the two dead strangers, but later he notices that he's being watched. He turns around, and it's a girl with a white dress with a contrasted dark black hair. Her face is pale, and her eyes black and enormous. Once he takes a step forward, she disappears. He later continues through the forest until he stumbles upon a mansion. He approaches the courtyard and spots a monster. It is a humanoid, but in a luxury clothing. The monster shouts, "Clear off, while you are still in one piece." Geralt is not afraid though, and he tells the humanoid that he lost the trail and his horse is thirsty. The monster is surprised that the Witcher is not afraid of him, and invites him to stay in the house. Geralt discovers a very expensive interior in the mansion, and begins to talk with the humanoid, with a head big as a bear. It reveals its name as Nivellen, but people in the neighborhood call him a degen and use him to frighten the nearby children. Nivellen serves Geralt a dinner, and they have a conversation about their origins. After a sudden twist in a conversation, the humanoid accuses the Witcher that he is hired by someone to meet the humanoid and to deal with him. Geralt naturally denies it, and in return, Nivellen tells him his story. He reveals that while he was young, he went with a group of friends to a distant temple. He was kinda pushed under the peer pressure to have a sex with a priestess in the temple. It was against her will though. In the end, he spat onto him and cursed him, telling him he's a monster in a human skin. She took her life, and the whole group swiftly rode away on their horses. Few days later, he woke up, and it was as the priestess said. He changed into a monster with a giant and ugly head. He also gained some magical power. Everything around him started to fly, and flames started to spark around him. Everyone was terrified by him. They fled and left the house, and they left Nivellen alone. While telling the story, the humanoid becomes very emotional and tells Geralt that he forgot how to break the curse which she put on him. Geralt asks him why he suspected him to be a hired thug. The humanoid answers, because human greed has no limits, and that any merchant who doesn't have any young daughter left hired him to get a price for his services in the mansion, since all the merchants in the region knew that Nivellen had a cellar full of gold. Geralt tells him that he noticed that he doesn't live alone and that he spotted the girl already. Geralt reveals to him that in order to lift the curse, he doesn't possess the power of the temple in which the humanoid has been cursed. Geralt suspects that Nivellen wants to get help, even though Nivellen assures him that he is satisfied with his life as it is. But since he tells the monster that nothing can be done, he sees him out of the house, but warns him that the girl in the forest, Verena, might be a monster, a Rusalka. The humanoid tells him that he loves her and he's afraid to break the curse, because she might not like him afterwards. After Geralt leaves, he sets a campfire in the forest. The next day, his horse Roach is very unsettled, and when Geralt talks to him, Geralt gets an idea about the monster he met. He swiftly mounts the horse and sprints back towards the mansion. He finds the gate already open, and the forest nymph in the courtyard is singing. She stops and Geralt confirms his suspicion that she's some kind of a vampire who just drank blood. He reveals her as bruxa and knows that she killed all the other servants and merchant girls for all the years who worked in the mansion for Nivellen. Geralt starts a fight with her. The vampire screams terribly, which catches Geralt by surprise, and the sound barrier hurts him. I'll quote a part from the story. He missed. It was so unexpected that he lost his rhythm and dodged a fraction of a second too late. He felt the beast's talons tear his cheek, and the damp, velvety wing slapped against his neck. He curled up on the spot, transferred the weight of his body to his right leg, and slashed over sharply, missing the agile creature again. Geralt is on the back foot for most of the fight, overwhelmed by the dangerous bruxa attacks. Only after Nivellen runs out of the mansion, all bloody, with his paws flying around, after another short skirmish between the three, Nivellen pierces the bruxa with a 3-meter-long pole. She only sighs. She starts to choke on her own blood, and Geralt delivers the final blow, cutting her head off. Geralt looks around and sees a young, handsome, and well-built man. The man, Nivellen, grasped his face with his own hands. Now finally, a human face. He moans, "Verena!" as if he feels sorry that his love is dead. Geralt tells Nivellen that the true love was the reason he could take off the curse, and Nivellen returned to his normal form. Thanks for watching. That's all for this time. Feel free to subscribe, since I'll see you again in a few days with another story about Geralt the Witcher.